This is exactly what I've been waiting for. This is exactly, I don't mean to sound like Cat Williams, but this is exactly what I've been waiting for.
Wait until you see the exact moment a rookie quarterback literally ended his coach's career on live television.
I'm disgusted with him right now.
I'm not even exaggerating. This clip has over 50 million views and counting, but did you catch what happened in the background while everyone was losing their minds?
This is bad. This is very bad.
Kevin Stefanski walked into that ESPN studio thinking he was going to have a nice, boring interview about team chemistry. He had absolutely no idea he was about to get roasted harder than a Thanksgiving turkey on national television. And the best part, Sanders planned this whole thing.
I'm so sick of these people. You know,
How does one sentence completely destroy a man's entire reputation? What did Sanders say that made the internet collectively lose its mind and start typing sheesh in all caps? Keep watching because you're about to witness the most savage 7 seconds in NFL history. But here's what nobody's talking about. This wasn't some random outburst. The tea had been brewing for months, and Sanders was just waiting for the perfect moment to serve it ice cold on a silver platter. You think this was spontaneous? Think again. Sanders had been planning this nuclear moment since training camp, and the signs were everywhere if you knew where to look. Picture this. You're the most talented quarterback on the roster, putting up video game numbers in practice, and your coach keeps you glued to the bench like you're some random practice squad player. How long would you stay quiet? Because Sanders tried the respectful route first, and that lasted about as long as a TikTok trend. The locker room was already choosing sides way before this ESPN interview. Sources close to the team were spilling tea like a broken faucet, saying veteran players were asking each other, why isn't this kid starting? But which teammates were secretly Team Sanders? The answer might shock you. Here's where it gets spicy. Multiple insiders confirmed that Sanders had been questioning play calling decisions in private film sessions for weeks. Translation, he was basically telling the coaches, your offense is mid and I can prove it. But Stefanski kept dismissing him like he was some rookie who didn't know football. Can you imagine the level of disrespect? Sanders is out here studying film like he's preparing for the Super Bowl, showing up early, staying late, doing everything right, and getting treated like a backup who should just be grateful to be there. No wonder he snapped. Why was Sanders benched if he was putting up numbers that made the starting quarterback look like he was playing with his eyes closed? What really happened during that training camp suspension that nobody wants to talk about? Keep watching because the truth is about to get wild. 8 minutes and 23 seconds into the broadcast. That's the exact timestamp when Sanders looked at Kevin Stefanski and chose absolute violence on live television. Stephen A. Smith asked what seemed like an innocent question about Sanders' role in Cleveland's offensive system. Normal media training says you give some boring diplomatic answer about trusting the process and supporting the team. But Sanders said, nah, I'm about to end this man's whole career. Here's the exact quote that sent the internet into complete chaos. I can't control who benches me. I just control what I do on the field. But everybody knows what happens when I actually get to play. Did you catch that? Everybody knows. That's not just confidence. That's Sanders basically saying the stats don't lie and y'all are just scared to admit it. The disrespect was astronomical. But wait, did you see how Sanders never broke eye contact with the camera? Not once. This man looked directly into the souls of millions of viewers and said, I'm him, and we all know it. That's main character energy if I've ever seen it. Now, watch Stefanski's reaction in slow motion because this is where it gets absolutely unhinged. The man's soul literally left his body and traveled to another dimension. First, you see the forced smile start to crack. Then his eyes do this weird blinking thing like he's trying to process what just happened. His posture shifts, he touches his headset nervously, and you can literally watch him realize he just got cooked on national television. Can you spot the exact moment Stefanski knew his coaching career was over? Because the internet sure did, and they turned it into the most savage meme format of 2025. The studio erupted, people were cheering, laughing, some were probably texting their group chats like, are y'all watching this? Meanwhile, Stefanski is sitting there looking like he wants to disappear into the floor. Why did the studio audience start losing their minds? What was going through Stefanski's head when he realized he'd been publicly destroyed by a rookie? The aftermath is about to get even crazier. Within 30 minutes of that interview ending, sources started leaking information faster than a TikTok algorithm pushes dance videos, and the tea they spilled was scalding hot. plot twist that nobody saw coming. This wasn't even Sanders' original idea. According to multiple insiders, his agent had been advising him to make a statement for weeks, but Sanders wanted to wait for the perfect moment. ESPN's primetime slot with millions watching? That's not coincidence. That's strategic warfare. The group chat with his teammates was probably going absolutely feral. Sources revealed that multiple veteran players had been privately supporting Sanders' frustrations with the conservative play calling. These grown men were watching their rookie teammate get disrespected and thinking, finally, somebody said it, which teammates were secretly celebrating when they saw the clip. The offensive line apparently. Multiple sources confirmed that linemen had been complaining about boring play calls that didn't showcase Sanders' explosive capabilities. Even the receivers were like, we have better chemistry with this kid than anyone else on the roster. But here's the wildest part. ESPN producers were completely caught off guard. They thought they were getting a standard feel-good segment about organizational harmony. Instead, they witnessed what one executive called unscripted television gold and authentic conflict unfolding in real time. Why did the offensive coordinator immediately side with Sanders after this interview? Because he'd been advocating for increased Sanders involvement for weeks, only to get shut down by Stefanski repeatedly. This man probably watched the clip and thought, thank God somebody finally said what we've all been thinking. Network executives watching from corporate offices allegedly approved extending the segment coverage immediately because they recognized viral content gold when they saw it. Meanwhile, Brown's front office executives were probably having emergency phone calls like, how do we contain this disaster? What did Jimmy Haslam do when he saw his rookie quarterback destroy his head coach on national television? Sources say he called an emergency board meeting before the interview had even finished airing. That's how you know this was serious. The internet collectively said, this is our quarterback now, and proceeded to turn Sanders into a meme king overnight. We're talking about the fastest character development arc in NFL history. TikTok users started creating content faster than Sanders could throw touchdown passes. The most popular format, POV. You're Kevin Stefanski watching this interview with users making increasingly dramatic, shocked faces. Some of these videos got 20 million views in 12 hours. Twitter was having the time of its life. The hashtag #everybody knows started trending within minutes, and users were quote tweeting with their own versions. Everybody knows my mom makes the best mac and cheese. Everybody knows my ex was toxic. Sanders accidentally created the most versatile meme template of the year. Jersey sales went brrrr like Bitcoin in 2021. Local merchandise stores couldn't keep Sanders jerseys in stock. One Cleveland retailer reported selling more Sanders gear in 24 hours than they had in the previous 3 months combined. That's the power of authenticity, people. How fast did his social media following explode? Try 500,000 Instagram followers in 72 hours. His TikTok mentions increased by 1,500%. Brand partnership opportunities started flooding his agent's email like spam, but the good kind of spam that makes you rich. Gen Z collectively said, respectfully, Stefanski got ratioed by a rookie and started making Sanders their unofficial spokesperson for workplace authenticity. Comments like, this is how you handle a toxic boss. And Sanders really said, I'm not the problem here, and left no crumbs. But the memes got so fired that even Sanders' mom started reposting them. Imagine your son destroys his coach on national television, becomes internet famous overnight, and your timeline is full of people calling him a legend. That's gotta be the proudest mom moment ever. Why are Bengals, Ravens, and Steelers fans suddenly buying Sanders jerseys? Because they respect the chaos energy and they're hoping he gets traded to their teams. Nothing brings rival fan bases together like watching someone else's organization implode in spectacular fashion. Which meme format completely won the internet? The side-by-side comparison of Sanders saying everybody knows next to Stefanski's shocked face, with captions like, when you tell your toxic boss exactly what everyone's thinking. Pure gold. Tuesday morning brought the most unhinged update possible, and I'm still not sure this actually happened or if we're all living in a simulation. Multiple trusted sources confirmed that Kevin Stefanski submitted his resignation letter following a private meeting with Jimmy Haslam. Let me repeat that. The head coach of an NFL team quit his job because a rookie quarterback embarrassed him on television. We're officially living in the wildest timeline. Stefanski's official official statement mentioned philosophical differences regarding organizational direction, which is corporate speak for I can't handle being disrespected by someone young enough to be my son on national TV. But here's the absolutely insane part. Sanders went from controversial rookie to franchise cornerstone in exactly 7 days. 7 days. That's faster than most people decide what to watch on Netflix. Veterans started expressing optimism about competitive possibilities despite the mid-season coaching chaos. Translation, they were probably thinking, finally, we can actually win some games with this kid running the offense. Did Sanders just change the NFL forever? Because multiple analysts are calling this the template for how modern athletes should handle incompetent leadership. Skip Bayless called it generational changing of the guard. Shannon Sharpe said, young man just graduated from rookie to franchise cornerstone through a single statement. Other NFL coaches are probably shaking right now, wondering if their own players are going to pull a Sanders move. Imagine being an NFL coach and having to worry about getting destroyed on live television by your own players. The power dynamic just shifted permanently. What other teams are desperately trying to trade for Sanders now that everyone knows he's actually him? Sources suggest multiple franchises have already contacted Cleveland's front office, but the Browns aren't stupid enough to let him go after this performance. Is this the end of old school coaching philosophy because Sanders just proved that authenticity and performance matter more than traditional respect hierarchies? Gen Z athletes are watching this and thinking we don't have to accept toxic work environments anymore. The Wednesday practice session was apparently the most productive the team had experienced all season. Sanders arrived early, maintained his professional demeanor, and executed every play flawlessly while everyone watched to see how he'd handle the attention. Spoiler alert, he handled it like the main character he is. Let's be completely honest about what just happened here. 1 sentence, 7 words. But everybody knows what happens when I actually get to play. That's all it took to end a coaching career and launch a legend. Sanders really looked at the entire NFL establishment and said, watch this, before becoming the main character of professional football. He took a boring Tuesday night interview and turned it into the most watched sports clip of the year. This isn't just about football anymore. This is about an entire generation refusing to accept mediocrity quietly. Sanders gave every young person watching a masterclass in confidence, timing, and strategic authenticity. If you're not following this story, you're missing the biggest power shift in NFL history. Sanders didn't just challenge his coach, he challenged the entire concept of paying your dues and respecting authority regardless of competence. The Cleveland Browns learned the hardest possible lesson about modern athlete empowerment. You can't suppress talent forever, especially when that talent has social media skills and perfect timing. Which team is going to try to replicate Sanders' energy next? Are we about to see more players use live television to address organizational dysfunction? Who's your favorite NFL drama queen in the comments below? But here's my final question for you. Was Sanders wrong for this? Should athletes respect traditional hierarchies even when leadership is clearly incompetent? Or did he just show us the future of professional sports? Make sure you subscribe because this story is far from over. Sanders just opened Pandora's box and every NFL locker room is about to get a lot more interesting. The revolution has officially begun and it's being led by a rookie quarterback who refused to stay quiet. Hit that notification bell because when the next player pulls a Sanders move, you'll want to see it the second it happens. Trust me, this is just the beginning.